Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al, and I have a single game showdown slate for you on Sunday Night Football for week 2. The Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Atlanta Falcons. This looks like a great game. I cannot wait for this single game showdown slate. Now, if you guys played the Thursday night slate, we know that Thursday night showdowns are always a little bit brutal. Guys coming off of short weeks, guys without a lot of rest. You've got ugly game situations. They don't really have a full week to plan for it. It can lead to some really sloppy, really ugly football. Sunday night games, totally different story. Monday night games, totally different story. We have two teams that should be able to move the ball up and down the field, and two teams that do things defensively that are going to allow each other to get the ball into spaces where they can really attack. There's some really tasty matchups in this game. It should be an up and down game. I am very excited to play it. If you would be so kind as to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notifications bell, I would greatly appreciate it. I have a ton of videos that come out through the week. I'm recording this one on Friday night. I'm going to publish it Saturday morning. So if you're watching this, thank you, all the way up into the Sunday night game. So if there are any injuries that occur or anything that happens with inactives, obviously you're going to want to pivot. I don't really go through and give a lineup in these because that's kind of pointless. I look at single game showdown slates more of a tournament play. I'm looking to bink. I'm not playing as much as I play during a main slate of NFL. I'm not entering all the high stakes contests. I don't play head to head when it comes to single game showdown. I'm looking at the large field tournaments. I'm looking at trying to bring down a large prize pool, even though I may share it with a bunch of different people. I had a good sweat on the Thursday night game. Halfway through the second half, I was in first place in both of the tournaments on DraftKings. Didn't end up taking it down. Did end up making a little bit of profit on the night, so it was an all right day for me. But I was about one Greg Olsen touchdown away when they ran that gadget play from having a really, really massive night. That's why I play single game showdown, to put myself in a position to bink. And the way that I do that is right here. I use dailyroto.com. A lot of people ask me, Al, what do you use for projections? What do you use in terms of lineup builder? How should I go about it? I have plenty of videos on this channel under the how to win playlist for you to try and get better at using an optimizer. If you've never used one before, even if you're not mass multi-entering, you should be using whatever optimizer you have on the site that you subscribe to, or if you can find yourself a free one on any of the sites that provide them, go through and play with it to see what type of lineups it's going to put out. Even if you're only playing 1, 3, 5, 10 lineups, you don't have to play 150 lineups to get a benefit of a lineup builder. But I personally really believe in the projections at Daily Roto. They're the ones that I use for all different types of sports. There's a link down below in the description if you click show more to get you a 10% off discount if you want to sign up for an NFL only package, or if you want the all sports package that includes NBA, MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, college football, and golf. So take yourself over to dailyroto.com, promo code SMIZLIFE at checkout, or just use one of the links in the description down below. Getting right to the slate. Got some pretty solid players on this slate. Julio Jones, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Zach Ertz. Deshaun Jackson had an absolute monster day in the opening week, as he's done in week ones before. Revenge game for him, all those sorts of things. What do we know about these teams? One thing that we know, Atlanta has been where we've gone to try and take advantage of how much they funnel targets to opposing running backs, right? That's something that they have done for the last 2.5, 3 years. And we have basically gone after it constantly over and over and over again. They funnel targets inside to tight ends and to running backs. So obviously, Zach Ertz in the captain spot is going to be very, very important to key on this week, as well as a couple of guys that are lower priced at $800 only, I believe. Sorry, $1,200 in the captain spot. Dallas Goedert, $1,200, $800 in the flex, $1,200 in the captain, isn't going to get the same amount of usage, right, as a Zach Ertz. I don't need 10 targets for $800 in the flex or $1,200 in the captain spot, but it allows you to open up a whole lot more things by plugging him in there. Now, the thing that I have to go over is group building, because that is the most important thing when it comes to single game showdown. Highly variant game type. You're going to have to focus on your groups. I know that there's always going to be one clown, one jackass in the comments down below. Oh, so you're saying we should stack Great comment, dude. Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of people that really don't think about that, especially in relation to their captain spot. So if you're playing Julio Jones in captain, you need to build your groups in that daily roto lineup builder to include Matt Ryan in every single Julio Jones captain lineup. So you can set him as a keyed captain. So anytime Julio Jones is in the captain spot, Matt Ryan will be in the flex. Conversely, if you're going to go with Matt Ryan in the captain spot, this is very important too. I've spoken about this on previous Showdown videos that we've done for Thursday night, Monday night in week 1, and Sunday night as well. Quarterbacks in the captain spot, quarterbacks in any projection system are going to come out with a higher median projection, right? So they're going to end up being 2 of the higher projected players on the slate because of their median projection. That's what any projection system is trying to give you. This is the highest probable outcome. This is the meat of that bell curve, right? They're not trying to give you the floor. They're not trying to give you the absolute ceiling. They're giving you the meat of the bell curve, and quarterbacks are going to have a more meaty part of that bell curve. But the extremes on both sides for wide receivers and running backs is much higher. So those guys have a higher outcome. So therefore, when it came down to all of the tournaments that were won last year, and even it is carried over to this year, if you extrapolate the data to include the 3 or 4 showdown slates that have already occurred in 2019, about 15% of the winners end up having a quarterback in the captain spot, as opposed to 71% of the winners having a running back or a wide receiver in the captain spot. So that's really where we want to focus. Obviously, if you have a stud tight end like Zach Ertz, you can plug him in there. As I was saying about the grouping with Matt Ryan, if I'm going to have a quarterback in my captain spot, and I will have some, but I'm not going to load up, right? I don't want more than 10% of my lineups, and I build 150 a week to have over 10% of my lineups have a quarterback in the captain spot. So I'm really trying to capture all of that upside for touchdowns and yards and bonuses and everything that the running backs and the wide receivers give. I want at least two of the Atlanta Falcons in any Matt Ryan quarterback group. And I also want at least one of the opposing team. So I'm going to build a group with Matt Ryan as the captain. I'm going to build it out with at least 2 of any of the pass catchers on Atlanta. I'm also going to build a bring back group, right? So a secondary captain group with Matt Ryan that's going to include at least one of all of the players on Philadelphia, pass catcher or not. I'll include the running backs and the tight ends in that stack as well. Same thing goes with Matt Ryan, just flip the script, right? We're going the other direction with that. If we have Matt Ryan, I want at least 2 of the Atlanta pass catchers, and I also want one of the Philly players, one of the Atlanta players coming back the other way. So Carson Wentz in the captain, 2 Philly players that catch passes, 1 guy on another group coming back for Atlanta. Now, who are the captains that are in play for me in this week? Obviously, I think Julio Jones, anytime you can have the highest scoring guy projected into your captain spot, you have to go for it. This does look like an eruption spot possibly for Mount St. Julio, as Philadelphia does not have the outside corners to match up with most wide receivers, let alone somebody with the talent of Julio Jones. This could be a massive game for him. He will have high ownership in the captain. If you want to go contrarian, you can. There are other guys that can score touchdowns. Anytime that there's a 1-game situation, the highest projected guy or the most probable guy to have a touchdown or multiple touchdowns or 100+ yards and a lot of catches doesn't always end up that way, right? We saw just this week on Thursday Night Football week 2, massive ownership. I think it was 85 to 88% ownership on Christian McCaffrey. He had a bust game for Christian McCaffrey, and a lot of people, 30-40%, had him as their captain. So if you went contrarian a little bit with your lineups, it's okay. Yes, are you taking a risk by doing that? Of course you are, but you can get there if that player doesn't have the best outcome that night and you put yourself in a better chance to win. Zach Ertz as well. I said they funnel targets inside. Zach Ertz still going to get a lot of targets, even though he's not going to get the amount of targets that he got last year. I think that those 10, 12, 14 target games back to back are somewhat gone, just based on the way that they're running their offense now. 2 tight ends on the field. Dallas Goedert is more in play. They've added a deep threat with Deshaun Jackson on one side. Alshon is healthy on the other. If this passing core gets kind of whittled down a little bit, then yes, I think that there might be a little bit of more opportunity for somebody like Zach Ertz. But right now, with a fully operational battle station, Zach Ertz still in play for me at captain, but maybe a little bit less so. Deshaun Jackson and his big game ability, we saw that on play or in play in week 1. He can break this slate for you if he gets deep, but obviously Atlanta funnels things inside a little bit. I will probably have some shares of Calvin Ridley in captain as well. We know that this kid just scores touchdowns, right? Is it sustainable? I think it's more sustainable this year than it was last year because the volume is increasing, the snaps are increasing. It's 1 year later, he's a little bit better. Last year was completely unsustainable from a per play basis for Calvin Ridley to be able to maintain the touchdown rate that he had. This year, though, you can regress that touchdown rate a little bit, but you bump up his volume and all of a sudden regression doesn't see, well, look, he's still scoring touchdowns. Yeah, but he's got more volume now. So even if you scored a lower percentage of the time, but you're getting more opportunities, that's how you negate that regression. The regression still happens, right? In terms of the touchdowns per attempt, touchdowns per target, touchdowns per catch, but he's getting more catches and he's getting more targets. So the touchdown rate might regress, but the touchdown total could stay the same. Alshon Jeffrey, another guy I'm going to probably have in the captain spot. Maybe not as much as Deshaun, probably not as much as Zach Ertz, but I am going to have some shares. As I said, every single captain that you have, be sure that you are locking in his quarterback with him, at least in those lineups. That is the one group that I'm sure to set all the time. I really don't know if I want to go with DEVONTA Freeman this week. I think he's fine. I'm sure that a lot of people are ringing the death knell on DEVONTA. That's not really where I'm at. I just don't think that this is a great matchup, albeit they are at home and the game could shoot out. And if they get inside the 5, he should see some more carries. So he does have touchdown upside, but Philly's front 7 is super good. Not really where I want to attack. The way that I want to attack with a running back is going to be with Miles Sanders. The rookie looked absolutely electric, even though if you take a look at his box score, it doesn't look like he did all that much. He had a touchdown called back where he just broke one dude's ankles and ran right around a second one. He's never going to get 70% of the snaps. That's not the way that they operate in Philadelphia with their running backs, but he should be the kid that gets the most snaps for them. 14 to 17 touches for Miles Sanders is not out of the realm of possibility. And as much as Atlanta funnels targets and catches towards opposing running backs, we were on Dalvin Cook in week 1 for just that reason. I'm going to be on Miles Sanders in this showdown for just that reason. I don't know. I haven't done my percentage owned charts yet, figure out where I think the percentage is going to be, but I know that I want to be overweight versus the field on somebody like Miles Sanders in a matchup as good as this one. Austin Hooper, if you're gonna have shares, you're gonna. He's 4,600. You can't have all the expensive guys. You're gonna fill him in with your Matt Ryan stacks. You're gonna fill him in with your bring back stacks as well as your normal lineups. Last bit of a tip here, I limit my defense and my kickers in a group. I don't use one as a key. I don't put one as a captain key or anything like that. I simply make a group where I limit them to max of 1 or max of 2, depending on the type of game that I expect it to be. If it's a slowdown game between two defensive teams that don't really have the ability to score and be efficient around the goal line, I might limit it to 2 max of the 2 defenses plus the 2 kickers in one group. In a game like this, I'm probably limiting it to 1. I just want 1 kicker or 1 defense from either team maximum in any single one of my 150 lineups. That's the way I'm looking at this slate. That's the way that I want to break it down. And I appreciate you guys joining me for another video. Thank you very much. I will be live on Sunday morning for the Anti-Tinkercast on twitch.tv/al_smizzle. All the links for my socials are down below. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, hitting that notifications bell so that you can be notified as soon as I publish another video for DraftKings NFL in 2019. I'd love to see you on Twitch so I can get to know you guys as opposed to just you watching these YouTube videos. So if you like the video, please come over to Twitch and, give us a little hello. We'll talk to you later. Good luck this Sunday. Bye.